Naspers, a multinational media giant with stakes in internet businesses in emerging markets, pay TV and print media.
Right, and of course they're on the list today because they have a significant operation in online retailing, not only just straight up stores, but also sort of eBay, classifieds type things and various portals and so on. We'll go through the list.
Tencent, you need to mention Tencent in China, but we're going to talk about that in a lot more detail. Market cap here of 1 trillion rand, a PE of 110 and a dividend yield of 0.2. First up, are you a shareholder?
Absolutely, you've got to be a shareholder. Most portfolios in South Africa are shareholders.
Are we still trading at all-time highs? Before I make the mistake of asking you whether you've made money on this one.
We are also trading at all-time highs. I think the last time we chatted about it, we were buying, and you would have made a lot of money if you had followed the show.
You're a huge fan, Paul. I have always been and have made a lot of money.
It's so unique a South African investment opportunity that I think it should be as much as 15% or more of people's portfolios, because I know that's a bit risky in normal portfolio
Yes, let's
practice.
just unpack that. 15% of someone's portfolio. Obviously, you would need to assess risk profile, etc., etc.
We did our portfolio weightings yesterday. We hold 13.2% in Naspers at the moment, and that's
you two are two peas in a pod when it comes to this discussion.
Remember that now, because Naspers makes such a large portion of our index. If you also benchmark against top 40, it's 12.
It's actually in sync.
12% is in the top 40. So it's something that a lot of fund managers hold. I think just almost to buy beta to track an index.
It's because of its size that obviously it will make up such a significant portion of
but at the same
portfolio.
time, I mean, you kind of look at the underlying business and you kind of think, shouldn't we just go 20?
I got to hold you guys back on the desk.
I mean, I don't care what's in the Aussie 40 in the index and tracking the index, but the fact is this is a unique investment. It's not like you can say, well, should I buy Naspers or should I buy that other international giant that has all those e-commerce assets? There's nothing. There's nothing else on our market.
You have made your point. I see why you are both so heavily invested.
It gives you China, it gives you
Let's
technology.
talk about Tencent, because one of the big stats out there is that Tencent still makes up around about 85% of NAV. Has that number shifted?
No, not really, because in fact probably even makes up 110% of NAV
it's more
now.
Than NAV, yeah. Tencent at the moment, so if it's still a 35% stake, Tencent makes up 1.09 trillion. So it's more.
It's more. So basically you get the rump absolutely free.
And you just extra as well. And the rump looks great as well. I mean, I went through all the underlying businesses as well. So I mean, you look at, Flipkart, they're taking their stake down there. But I mean, the Russian classified businesses, maybe a little bit of a knock on the ruble there too. But I mean, very exciting developments. I mean, they've got iFood in Brazil now, which they're delivering food for people. I mean, there's a lot going on in this company other than Tencent. And like you say, technically you get that for free.
No, you can't argue with that.
Yeah, let's
like
go
things
back
for free.
a step because we've got a little bit of extra time. And when you talk about Naspers' e-commerce businesses other than Tencent, you've got to start with the classifieds. They've got a joint venture with Schibsted, and they have Gumtree and things of that sort. So they've got that space. They've got a guy who was an ex Schibsted guy, in fact, Martin Schiepbauer, has come in as the manager of that unit. Then you go to the actual straight-up online stores, which are like Takealot and Spree. Those will be what people are familiar with here.
So Spree is in their stable.
Exactly. And then they've got businesses like Net Retail and others that are in Europe that are the same, Marcofoni, which is in Turkey. And then if you start talking about marketplaces, which are similar to Alibaba,
yes.
Forgive me.
I couldn't help you there.
Those are where you've got the ability to sort of link people that are doing business. There's a bunch of those as well. Buscapay, PriceCheck, Allegro, PayU, which is a business that facilitates all of the payments across the group. And then finally, their newest ventures are in the training arena, where they've bought Brainly and some company called Udemy.
What digital training space?
Exactly, where they create a platform, and then companies that want to run online courses can put the content up there and serve it and host it. So you can see they've got it all covered.
Anything you want to add? Paul's covered it so comprehensively.
Yeah, I think the one other thing that maybe you can mention just is that their huge shift into mobile as well. So they're buying another company now. It's called Let Go as well, and that's it's also an online marketplace, but it's exclusively for mobile. I mean, remember, Naspers will always shift its portfolio of underlying tech startup kind of investments, and I mean, one of the shifts that you've seen is they're really driving into mobile, where they see the future, and I think they've got that right. And I mean, as long as they keep investing, I mean, You know, they're going to hit another 10 cents sooner or later.
A drum roll now for the share price graph. It's still tracking at all-time highs. Look at
So
that,
it's done that little
gentlemen.
pop up to
Bask in the
2,300
glory
or
of being
thereabouts.
steeped in Naspers shares.
I should also just point out that as far as Tencent is concerned, we sort of glossed over it, but to suffice it to say that Tencent is a wonderful, wonderful business with super reach. It's got apps which people sign up and put their credit card details into. It's a big gaming business because in China that's huge. People paying in order to reset their games, to upgrade
And
their
most
avatars and so on.
importantly, it has access to that huge Chinese population that we were talking about
Indeed.
with Alibaba.
And the regulatory environment in China is quite favorable. It sounds a bit of a contradiction, but actually, like, for example, allowing them to get into financial services, allowing them, remember the taxi hailing thing we haven't mentioned. So Didi, you know, the application that they invested in, Apple, the Uber subscription, similar thing. That's a big part. Tencent is invested there, Apple is invested there now, and people use their Tencent app, QQ or WeChat in order to call the taxi, pay for the ride, etc.
Exactly like the Uber
Here,
application.
indeed. So it's all cooking, man. I mean, the
That's it.
volumes, the profits, it's not pie in
And the
the sky
growth
stuff.
as well. It's, I mean, last
You know,
time there's
I-
650 million monthly active users, and that's up 39%. I don't even know where it is now.
Forget
It's-
about 20% of your portfolio, just go 50% of your portfolio. I mean, come
you
on,
can't, you can't
guys.
endorse that. Come on. We're responsible.
And recently we know, like if in the hot stocks portfolio, we've got technology invested positions, Naspers, and then we've got poor old MTN bringing up the
Which
rear,
wipes
looking
out
very
all of our
badly beaten up.
Naspers profits, if I
So,
can
you know,
just say.
your argument that you would, if you want technology exposure in your portfolio, in a South African portfolio, to go heavily overweight Naspers is well made.
I tell you, get rid of MTN, go straight into Naspers.
Put
How
all of
about
this
that?
in there.
You're going to think about that for the rest of the week?
Well, we've got to wait and see because that MTN deal is apparently close, some sort of resolution. But,
No,
you
haven't
know,
we heard that before?
we have rather, yeah.
Hot or not on Naspers, Gary?
Yeah, hot.
Cool.
I don't know if I'd buy here though. Like I'd say you can probably get 100, 200 rand dip from here, but I think you know, whenever you see weakness in Naspers, you buy.
Hot or not?
I would say you're much more likely to see a couple of $100 price gain than a loss.
So you don't see a
definitely,
pullback in the near term?
No, we've been saying for ages, as many have, that this thing should be valued at 3,000 rands a share or more. So it's ridiculously cheap at its current all-time high.
Hot, hot, hot.